Harvey Chua. I'm an exchange student from the Philippines, but I'm from Cinnamon College. So my question is about something that was mentioned in passing by President Obama. So, which is that about a year ago, the Supreme Court decision Citizens United versus FEC allowed corporations, an unprecedented number of corporations and wealthy individuals to contribute or donate to super PACs, which are not required to reveal their donor lists. So no doubt this has contributed to the polarization that has been mentioned in a question a while ago, the polarization and the level of vitriol and political discourse. So given that President Obama has ran on a campaign of changing how Washington works 4 years ago, changing the way we do things in Washington, what concrete steps would both candidates take in ensuring that we improve the quality of democracy and ensuring that the environment is such that it's not too toxic for anything to get done in Washington? Thank you.
Can you repeat your question again?
What concrete steps would both candidates take to ensure the quality of our democracy in the United States and to ensure that the environment is not too toxic for anything to get done in Washington?
Okay. And how is that related to the Supreme Court decision allowing corporations to contribute to super PACs?
Because the super PACs put up ads that are no doubt increasing the polarization in the country. If both campaigns.
So are you opposed to the Supreme Court decision?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So
again, this is more rhetoric from President Obama. He criticizes the spending. He said he's going to change the ways of Washington. He's not going to allow lobbyists to participate in his campaign or his administration. The reality is, 4 years ago, he spent close to $1 billion, and he's looking to do the same again. So there's more talk than action there, and he criticizes how close our side is to Wall Street, but actually Wall Street donated more money to him 4 years ago versus Senator John McCain. And even recently at the Democrat convention, a large amount of the financial support for the convention in Charlotte came from banks. Very surprising, but it's true. Again, Governor Romney will meet with the other side should he be elected. He won't go in on the first day and say what President Obama said, I won. You'll just have to deal with it. Tough luck. That is not Governor Romney's style. He's never been that kind of leader, whether in business, at the Olympics, or as the governor of Massachusetts when his legislature was approximately 87% Democrats in both houses. With regard to Citizens United, there's a very different view on that between my party and the Democrat Party. My party tends to support our free speech rights that are enshrined in the Constitution, and that includes being able to donate to political campaigns, whether individuals or corporates. The other side doesn't see it that way. We vehemently disagree.
Jeff, your turn.
I love lobster. I could eat it every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I love champagne. I could eat it all the time. But what would I be like if there was no limits to that, right? Everything in moderation, right? And if I'm going to eat that stuff, I shouldn't hide it from my wife, right? She should know where I'm buying it from, who's supplying my habit. So for me, it's not so much that money and politics can be separated. I think that there will always be money in politics, but at least have some transparency, right? At least let us know who's writing the check. What are and from that you gain what are their interests? What are they really after, right? But the Republicans, I hate to say this, a lot of times they don't want people to know who's supporting them because most people wouldn't support him, right? So it's better to have everything in a dark hole where you can't see it, in a black box. Where did the money come from? And big money is big money, that's fine, but let's have some limits. Now, it is in the Constitution, and free speech is a very good thing, I think. It's in Singapore's Constitution as well. And the thing for me is that it's the courts who decide what the Constitution says. Well, we know whose nominees to the bench decided that decision. Okay? If I'm reelected, I'll have 4 more years, and I hope at least 2 more seats on the Supreme Court.
Can we have one more question from the student? Oh, there are 3, yeah? 4, is it? Okay. Introduce yourself. Maybe we'll take two questions at a time.
Hi, I'm Vinod from Tembusu College.
Yeah.
My question is actually to both candidates. President Obama's skirting around the question of the difference between balance and containment was quite frankly terrifying. So my question actually is, building on what Ambassador Chan asked earlier, Asia is a lot bigger than just China. So what would your approach and attitude be to the rest of Asia beyond just China?
Okay. So foreign policy question. Huh?
Yeah.
Beyond the obsession with China, what is your larger policy towards Asia? To both of them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's have another question, please. You.
Hi, my name is Melissa. I'm a first-year law student, and I stay in Cinnamon College. My question is directed at Romney. A significant number of your voters are women, and I'm not sure how much your administration is going to support women with your plans on overturning Roe and Wade, your plans on cutting funding for Planned Parenthood, and your vice presidential candidate Paul Ryan's refusal to support the Lilly Ledbetter Act for equal pay for equal work for women. And I just like to know if your administration at all is willing to support equal rights for women.
Okay.
Having binders full of women don't really count.
Okay. Okay. Okay, that's two questions. One on policy towards Asia, ex-China. The question is, what is your... I'm going to ask both of them to answer the question. What's your policy on women? Can I have a third question? Third question, yeah, please.
Good afternoon. My question is directed to both candidates.
Okay.
My name is Ning Zheng. I'm from China and staying in Tembusu College. Both candidates, you support higher education by either cutting student interest rate or by supporting the teachers. I'm wondering what your policies will be about immigration. So because the immigration tightening of student visa and work permits to international workforce has been happening in United States and UK, so a lot of international students, they have to go to Canada or Australia. So what your policies will be about this issue? Thank you.
Thank you. A question about immigration policy in general, but for foreign students in particular. Both of you. Final question, one more question, and then we'll ask. We don't have final. Yes? Yes, go ahead.
Hi, thank you for the very engaging discussion. My name is Dion, and I am a first-year law student. My question is, how much do you think the electorate should focus on the presidential nominee, and how much should they focus on the party policies? The actions of a President of Obama, for instance, the specific actions, they do not lead to the effects per se, but there are so many other factors in play. So electorate...
So what's your question? Your question is...
Should the electorate focus on the party's politics or on the presidential nominee?
But that's not a question for surely Governor Romney and President Obama, because it's a question really for you, the voters. How will you vote in a few minutes' time? Are you going to focus on the party's platform? Are you going to focus on the individual, or combination of both?
That's true, but...
Yeah, right? So that's not a good question for both. Right. Ask another question.
Okay, maybe for presidential nominee Romney, how do you reconcile your attitude towards abortion and gun rights? Conceivably, your attitude towards abortion would be against violence, but how does that tie in with your attitude towards gun rights?
Okay, thank you. I will make that a part of the question on women, so that we basically have 3 questions. Just to summarize, first question is on foreign policy. What are your respective policy towards Asia ex-China? Second question is, what's your policy on women, including abortion? And the third question is, what's your policy on immigration, especially on foreign students? So answer all 3 questions. Okay,
Okay.
who wants to go first? Ross, you want to go first? Or-
I'll
yeah?
let the president go first.
Okay, President, you go first. Three
Thank
questions.
you. Thank you. I think Asia beyond China is kind of that's the strangest question I've ever heard. But I'll try to.
It's a good question.
It is a good
I
question.
mean, Asia is larger than China, you know. And you know that.
Is that a
right?
quote?
I know Americans are not good about geography, but you know that, right? It's true. They've stopped studying geography.
Ross and I first met each other in Taipei, Taiwan, and I'm sure you all know where that is.
We do.
I know you do, but we always tell these funny stories, and you know, I tell my American friends, "Yo, I'm moving to Taiwan. Oh, I've heard Bangkok's really fun." Right?